Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I am in New York because why not? And I'm joined by a very special guest.
Hi, I'm Tzivi. We're on the channel Cookie Addictions, and I mostly talk about books, but sometimes Broadway and other random stuff.
We are here in, what park is this?
Bryant Park.
Bryant Park today to talk about the differences between West End and Broadway. Because I'm from London, the home of the West End, and some incredible shows. You're from New York and Broadway. Now, yesterday I got to see my first ever Broadway show, which was Waitress, and it was really good. However, I was immediately outraged at a few things.
Outraged?
Slightly outraged. We will discuss. So, let's talk about differences. So, the main thing I noticed, well, it's not the main thing I noticed, but
The most important thing.
seriously,
definitely.
they don't serve ice creams during the interval. Is that the whole of Broadway? Is that just not a thing?
Well, okay, so before I went, my friend told me that, they serve ice cream, so I was very excited. If you go, back in my Instagram, there's, a picture, because I take a picture every time I see a show of, me holding the playbill.
Yeah.
So there's a picture of me holding the Les Mis program, and then the next thing is me holding an ice cream. I'm so excited for ice cream. And some of my friends were like, but we kind of have ice cream. Some shows will sell those little, ice cream bites. You know what I'm talking about? They're, ice cream covered in chocolate, and they come in so they keep them in the freezer, but it's not like you scoop it out.
Okay, yeah.
Some places have that as one of the things, but it's not a standard thing, and they definitely don't have the little mini Haagen-Dazs. I was very excited to have them in London because I felt like that's the West
But
End
they do it.
experience.
It's not just the West End. It's all every theatre in the UK.
So that's what I brought is the playbills.
Yeah, so there we
they
go.
hand out a playbill as the usher shows you to your seat. Looks like this. Some of the older ones have a thing around the edge. They just redesigned them last year, but they don't give them out for free in London, so you have to pay. Which this was £4, so it's not a lot of money.
Yeah, it's usually £4 or £5.
I like to do. So this is the show I just recently saw. I had to run. Usually I get one signed, and then I get another one to keep clean, and I put them both next to each other in my pile. You can't do that when you're paying £4.
You can, but it'll cost you
but they're
fortune.
nicer. They're definitely thicker, nicer
And
material.
they've got pictures in them, whereas these ones I found they just have the text with the cast.
No, they put them separate. So they have headshots at the beginning, and you have to find the name later on to get their bio.
But it's a bit more.
Yeah, so I do have a
consistent.
signature in this one as well because I think. Oh yeah. I
Oh,
wanted
of
to see
course.
Carrie Hill Fletcher.
Of course.
So but I usually didn't bother because. Oh, that's another difference. Stage dooring is not as big of a thing in the UK, so
Yeah.
So I guess they kind of go hand in hand because the reason I get a second playbill is so I can stage door with one of them. I'm I guess unless you really love a show, you wouldn't necessarily buy it because you don't need them to sign it or the media. I don't know.
Really,
Carrie,
apart
it was a
from
big
Carrie,
deal.
who-
A lot of people were there for her.
Yeah.
But when I saw Bendit Beckham, Jamie Campbell Bower, I don't know how to say his name. I didn't even know he was going to be in the show, but he was in it, and I was like, oh, cool. I recognized him from some other stuff. So then I stage doored, and it was me and one other person in the pouring rain. No one else was there. No one cared. It wasn't even easy to find a stage door. Here it's a thing. Here they have barricades outside before the show that the security will then set up in a formation when the show ends, so that people can line up. And I didn't see that at all.
No, that's not. The theatres in London are always very antique-y, and they're kind of quite grand.
Oh, you didn't think it was nice, the one that you went to?
It was nice inside, but it felt quite fake. It was it was nice inside, but then you go down a corridor through double doors to get into the theatre, whereas in London it's always marble steps and things.
Yeah.
Is that just the one theatre I was at, or is that generally?
There are some theaters that are very grand, the Gershwin, which is where Wicked plays, is really nice. It has a lot of lobbies. It's not grand, but it feels really big. I think on that note, I've noticed that I think the theaters in London are much older, and so they were built from smaller sets.
Yeah.
So when you have a huge set in the small theater, you're going to be cut off at a lot of points. And we have partial view seats also. I will do Rush, and they'll give me an orchestra seat, but if it's all the way on the side in the small theater, so the angle is very sharp, it will end up cutting off part of the set on one side. So it's not we don't have partial view seats, but there were so many more, I felt in London.
Yeah. No, I know, because it's because they're really old theatres. They just put loads of seats in back in the day, and so they find that you have a seat behind a pillar, and you're thinking, why would you put a seat behind a pillar?
Yeah.
And especially at the back of the stalls because of the overhang. It's
Yes.
you just can't see.
Oh, that's
the top.
also another difference. We'll get to stalls in a second.
Okay, no,
but,
go on. What's the difference with stalls?
Then we just call it the orchestra.
Oh,
We don't call the base
okay.
level stalls.
Oh yeah, if it
That's
comes
just
to,
the name,
if
and
it
you have
comes
like,
to
what do you call it?
terminology-
Okay, so we usually don't have more than 2 levels. If we have a third level, it's called the balcony. The middle level would be the mezzanine, or the second level. Most theaters don't have a balcony. Like, if the theater has a balcony, I hate it because you feel so far away.
It's so high up, but
and then
it's
we have
kind
the
of.
orchestra.
I kind of like the grand theatres that are so small, but they just go up.
Yeah,
And
I
maybe
think
not being at the top, although the tickets are really cheap, but like
Yeah.
it just feels kind of cozy. I don't know.
they do have like multiple levels at like regional theaters. So if something's like touring, but I don't know, there's just no room. I don't think in
I
New York
guess
for
so,
that.
yeah.
Like they're just like the average theater here seats like. Well, I think for Broadway, to be called Broadway, you have to have 1,000 seats or something. And
That's
then
a lot.
that's like what Broadway means. Like off Broadway means it's like between 500 and 1,000 or something like that. Yeah, I guess on the note of partial view, like I just felt like you need to pay a lot to get a great seat in London. You have to pay more. That's what I thought because of the partial view. I was like, I need to see Les Mis because that's the original production that's been going 30
Yeah.
years. And I didn't even like Les Mis that much, but then seeing it in London made me love it. It's just, and it was good in New York, but it was way better in London. Like we didn't have the have you seen it in London?
Yeah.
We don't have the
You don't have the
turntable.
revolt.
We did when it originally opened here, and that closed when I was a kid. And then we had a revival open up in 2014, and it was only open for 2 years. So good.
So good.
I'd heard about it,
Yeah.
but I'd never seen it until I saw it in London. And I remember like I paid a lot. I paid $130. I was sitting in row M in the stalls, and that was like the last row where the overhang didn't cut off the set. And like, you know how they like lift up the
Yeah,
flag in like the end of the first act? Like it's such an important scene. And like it would be so annoying if it was cut off.
I thought it was the opposite, so I thought it was always so much more expensive here on Broadway because the highest price tickets you could get in London, like maximum, would be £130, £140.
That's probably what I paid.
That's the very high, and that's like premium.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get higher than that. Whereas I'm assuming on Broadway,
Yeah.
it goes up.
Yeah, you can get like base price is like $350 for like premium. Yeah, no, I think you're right that the tickets overall are cheaper there.
Yeah.
But I just felt like because you're limited by all these like weird views, if you want like a really good seat, you have to pay for the top.
Maybe it's because to get the kind of good cheap seats in London, you have to kind of know where to look and what to go on, and not to like get it on all the main traffic sites.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got any other differences or any
Okay.
other thoughts?
Oh, yes, I do have a difference. Okay, this is based on, I wouldn't have known this, but there is a podcast called The Ensemblist that I listen to, and it's these two people who have worked on Broadway. So they like highlight the like ensemble or chorus members of the show as opposed to like the main actors.
yeah.
But they did one about West End where they, I think, talked to either actors who came from the West End and then transferred here, or people from here who went to West End. So they talked about differences. And one of them is that London is way more punctual. A show at 8 o'clock, curtain goes up at 8. Here you get 5 minutes for sure. Like your curtain is not going up before 8:05. And maybe even like 8:06 or 8:07.
Okay.
They're a
wow.
bit late.
No, that's interesting about being punctual. Yeah, generally it's going to start
like a
at that
stereotype,
time.
but,
Like
like, it's true.
they've got to make sure.
Yeah.
No, they've got to make sure everyone is sat down. Like they won't start the show if there's still queues of people waiting to come in. But generally people are already
People
sat
know
down
to
and they've
show.
got to.
Will they like let you in if you come in late?
They will, but you'd have to wait until a gap in the show, so like between numbers or something like that.
Some shows are like that here, and there are some shows that like print it on the ticket that like if you do not show up on time, you can't come in till the intermission at all.
Yeah,
Like,
Harry
that's
Potter
it.
was like that. That was the only
Yeah.
one I've been to where they were like. Let's ask the big question: which is better, like Broadway shows or West End shows?
I think
Like,
they're
which
of the
are
same
higher?
level.
You think they're equal?
Yeah. Also because a lot of them are the same. Like
Yeah.
all of our longest running shows are British shows pretty much. Oh,
Like-
maybe like with accents. Like we bring a lot of shows where the characters are supposed to be British. You're probably going to have more authentic accents if you see it in the UK because a lot of our actors are putting them on, whereas a lot of the actors are probably like have it.
So Waitress is the first show I've seen where one of the people had an American accent that was so strong I could barely understand it, and I'm very good with accents. But
Wait,
it was
what does that mean? So strong?
thick.
Is that I haven't seen Waitress. Is she Southern?
Yeah, it was, but like
That's like a very strong accent.
there was such a. But I never have problems with accents, particularly like
Americans
in England
do
we have
have
some
problems
crazy
with accents. Like
accents.
I personally don't, but I when I saw
Particularly
Matilda
with a lot of
here,
Northern England. Yeah.
no, Matilda's not so like
No, Matilda
stronger
isn't,
than accent,
like, there's
but
a lot of-
okay, Matilda really bugged me when I saw it because they train the kids first in like just standard whatever the British accent was when they
Yeah.
did the show in London, and apparently American audiences couldn't follow what the kids were saying because kids don't always enunciate so well anyway, I guess. But it was hard for them to understand, so they like did half British accents. So they would just the R that I noticed. They would like emphasize it because I think they'd been taught to put it back in.
Let's talk about accents then, because maybe the majority of shows in the UK, if you're an actor, you have to do it in RP, which is received pronunciation, which is like what Americans stereotype British accent to be, which is actually quite similar to my accent. But you're learned to do the sort of, yes, I am speaking in a British accent.
Yeah, that's like what I hear more.
Yeah, that's what you're taught to do, even though that's not realistic whatsoever. But I think a lot of the more recent shows, particularly the ones set in Britain, they have got a lot more like chilled out.
Yeah.
And like some northern accents, which might be harder to understand.
Yeah. Like I can hear the differences.
Yeah.
But also you guys need to calm down on your accents. Like, okay, in America we have like 6 accents and our country's giant. You guys are like, oh no, this accent is so different from that accent. I'm like, your country is this big. So people will be like, let me put on accents, and they'll do like 15 accents. They still haven't left England.
Yeah. I could do just the northeast, and I could do about 5 or 6 accents that I could put on.
Oh, okay. Our seats in West End very small. There's a lot of theaters here that have very little length. Is that the same?
Yeah. It depends on the theater.
Yeah. No, some of them are really good, but some of them, like, you're like I'm not that tall and my legs are like.
You're just like.
Yeah.
I'd say it's generally quite little leg room.
Okay, so that's how they're the same. So then I feel like maybe like the humor thing, but I don't know, because for example, The Play That Goes Wrong is a British show. Oh, look at the bird. The Play That Goes Wrong came here last year. I just saw it a few weeks ago, and I loved it. And that's, I assume, what people would think of as a stereotypical British humor.
Actually, that's made me think of a thing, which is kind of one more kind of difference, is that you don't have pantomime. So.
What's a pantomime?
I don't know what pantomime.
Like a mime, like.
Oh my god! I'm like trying to explain what a pantomime is. It's like a cultural genre of show that is exclusive to the UK. It's bizarre. It's interactive. And it is, I think the most similar thing you have is Aladdin is very pantomime. It's a show which has completely topical jokes. They usually put it on between October and Christmas or January.
Okay.
All over the UK. No, it's
people want to
more.
Go out to the theater,
it's more like, yeah, it's almost a Christmas thing, but it's not necessarily. It's just this time of year. They're all over. They've always got celebrities as the main parts. They always fairy tales generally. And like they've got the music.
You speak?
Yeah.
So why is it called a pantomime?
It's just then there's like these like jokes where like the audience shout out things. That's like in every show. The Play That Goes Wrong, the people that make that at Christmas time, they've got a pantomime called Peter Pan That Goes Wrong. Okay. So that I looked that up because I was looking it up after the show, and we were like, oh man, it's just so good. Maybe we should see it again. And then I saw it, and it looked really funny. You can
that's what you mean by
on
pantomime?
YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube you can watch.
I saw it, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
There's like a 30-minute one which they like recorded a smaller version for BBC, and you can watch the whole thing on YouTube.
I'm gonna watch it.
And that is like, again, because it's like a cross between that, which is like a farce, like a like comedy, and a pantomime. So like it's a good introduction to showing what's fun. But
yeah. So I think that's mostly the differences. They're both like worth it, but I guess you get more bang for your buck in London.
Yeah, I guess so. And both of them.
It's such an American phrase.
Bang for your buck.
Bang for your buck.